have seen blogs and wikis, right? You guys have any doubts on those in any of the part? Like,
Hello?
yeah, hi Mohammed.
Hello?
Hello, hi Mohammed. Can you hear me now? Hello, hi Mohammed. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, fine, sure. So we just started up. So I was just asking, like, we have learned blogs and wikis, right? So you guys
Yeah.
have any doubts in any part of site creation or permissions or anything of that sort,
No, I'm
I'm
good.
right?
okay so far. I just have one
Mm-hmm.
question. I'll ask you at the end of the class.
Okay, sure, not a problem.
Okay?
Yeah,
Alright.
okay, fine, not a problem. So okay, then I can move on, right? You guys can just mute up your mics, right? If you have any doubt, you can just unmute them.
Yeah.
Fine.
Sure.
Yeah. So today we'll be learning something, which is on central administration part, which is again somewhat important to keep them in track, right? Which is something like backup and restore, taking backups of different sites, right? Taking backup and how actually you should take backup and how actually you should maintain them and all, right? Again, it
Okay.
is again a very important task. Yeah, any doubt?
No.
Yeah, so there is why this is important is, so it comes mostly under administration, but we should also say that it also comes under development, because each and every developer, like if you are developing any site or any component, right, always make sure that you're taking one copy with you, right? Don't ever rely on direct server, because if anything goes wrong, you will never have a source for you, right? But anyways, if you are, if each and every page is kept in one place, like something like svn or vss or some tfs or microsoft test, so these svn and all are something which are called as source safe control, source safe tools. Like if there is a team, right, each and like if there are a people of 10 guys in a team, so all are developing some code, right? So they should keep all the code at one place, right? They can't keep place at their own workstation, right? Yeah, anyways, they can keep in order to code, they have to keep in their workstation, but so all 10 people should accumulate the code at one place where it can be integrated as a complete product, right? So that one place is nothing but a source safe control, or we call it as version control tools, which is there are so many version controls you have. Once you enter into corporate, you will be getting those tools, which is sometimes you'll be getting either something like svn, some svn which is subversion, or microsoft's tfs, team foundation server, right? Or perforce, TFS was previously called as VSTS, Visual Source Text Foundation Server, right, and all. So these are somewhere where you can actually check in and check out your. So we have already seen something in checking and check out, right, in SharePoint. SharePoint, if you remember. So what is happening here is checking and checking out will actually do some operations in SharePoint server, but these tools are something which are used to save, like if you are coding in .NET, if you want to upload anything, you can upload. So these tools are different anyways. So we are nothing to do with these tools in SharePoint anyways, right? So that's why backup is very important, and backup should be version even. So we'll see how to backup different things in SharePoint, right, and how it is important again, right? And backup is done using administration side, so only admin can do that, or whoever have got admin rights, or at least member rights, who can access this central administration, can access them, right? Again, so I'm in central administration now. So again, if you go to the site permissions again, right? So I've just opened site actions and clicked on site permissions, right? So you can see here, right? So there are so many default roles here. Delegated administrators, like, which is farm administrator is one who is a complete administrator, which is admin here, right? And again, these are something which are some roles which are created by, which are defaultly created by your SharePoint for you, right? So these guys can actually access, and if you want to create a new group you can create, or if you want to create a new admin you can create all of them, fine. Which means these are you can actually create your own permission level, full control, or you can just say full control but not delete, full control but add sites, right? You can have any number of permutation combinations you can apply, right? And all those stuffs whatever you have learned in collection, site collection, can also be done in central administration. If you remember, central administration is again a website in our IAS, right? If you remember this, do you remember inet manager? If you We have seen this inet manager, right, where we have seen some sites, right, um, where all the sites are being deployed, right, by default you have got something called Sharepoint, right, administration. And if you can see here, you can find our sites which is corp IT, right, and on. So each and every site is automatically deployed on IIS, right, and all are again on a same platform called SharePoint, right. If you go inside, you can see all the things which is being deployed in here, which is different site templates which you have. If you remember this, my SAMP and my SharePoint project is what we have created, right, control templates. So everything will be automatically deployed in your IIS. You don't have to worry about them. But what you have to majorly worry about is, so whatever design you are doing, right, or whatever design you have done in your corp or something like site collection, you should make sure that you are taking backups frequently, right? Don't ever forget that. That is very important again, right? So in order to do that in central administration, you have something called backup and store, right? It's straightforward, but inside there are the components may be different. We'll be checking out that, right? So you can find in a central administration level itself you have something called the backup store. Let me click on that, right? Now these are the maximum possible backups and restores which you can do, which is farm backup and restore. First one is farm backup and restore, which is nothing but uh, may working with something called complete collections or complete your site collection items, right? And taking backup, rolling back again, right, and checking completely what was the different versions you have taken a backup, right, and all. And granular backup is nothing but page level, like you can perform a site collection backup, one collection in your complete website, right, and one list. You can export a list. Either you can do it from here, or we have all, if you remember, we have already seen that part here, right? You can actually export your list to some Excel, right? But here you will be taking export in something called backup file. We'll be checking out that, right? And you can recover your so if anything happens to your site, or if anything happens to your certain page, right, you can always take a backup of your you know backup of your component, whatever you have taken a backup, you can restore them at any time. We'll be checking out how to restore also, right? Now let's move on here and see what exactly how to take a backup now. So first ever thing is, let us look at a farm backup, which is perform backup. Perform backup is, if you click on this, right, it will take you to the screen where you will get all the options. Let us go through each and every option there, right? Yeah, if you can see here, whatever websites or whatever applications you have, everything will be. So farm is nothing but, let me just minimize this. Farm is nothing but it's a content and configuration data of entire server farm, right? It is the farm is something which holds everything, which means your SharePoint server, the main root of SharePoint server is nothing but a farm type, or a component called as farm, fine. So in between, in internally, which each and everything, like your solutions, your different, if you can see here, you have a batch, you have a corp IT, right? You have let me just minimize this. You have something called SharePoint 80. You have shopping, which you have created, Sri IT, right? And even the administration, see here, you can also take a backup of your administration stuffs actually, right? And different things, and different shared services which are internal to your farm. Now, so why we have farm level backup is, if you just click on farm, which means whatever you are done in a complete SharePoint instance of this, right, will be taken as a backup file, right? So now let me just take the whole, and we'll come to each later, right? So let me just select. When I selected farm, you can see that each and everything is selected, right, whatever you have here. Now let me click on next. Now you can see here, when you click on next, so what is happening is you have selected each and everything. Now there are some very important things here, which is backup of the following component. You can also, if you want to, at this is a second screen which you have. Either you can go back if you want to change something, or you can also select here change the backup component, right? If you, it'll again take you back again. If you want to skip something, you can skip something, or if you want to select, you can select them, right? Let me select a farm, go to next, right? And now, so there is one more very important thing, which is backup type. So there are two types of backup types here again. So here in each and every entity, its description will be there, so don't have to worry about much. But here backup type, you have two types, which is full means you are taking you are completely taking the backup of or I can say you're taking the complete latest instance of backup of the whole SharePoint farm. Or differential means, if you have already taken a backup, right, so it will start from that point of time, and it will take the latest backup. That is differential, right? So you can select accordingly. If you have, if your backup location, this is a backup location, let us say if your backup location is same, right, so you don't have to go for full. But what you can do is, you can take one time full, and later on that you can just say differential and keep this path same, right? Yeah. And now we have something called data to backup. So what do you want to take the backup? Either you want to take up the content. Content is nothing but whatever your page have got. Now if you can see here, so these are nothing but a contents. Everything here is nothing but a content. And if you go and check out something like permissions and all, no, not permission, yeah, permission is a configuration, right? Permission is a configuration. Content is different, the configuration is different. And you have something called site settings, right? In here we have something called site themes. Site themes, again, nothing but a configuration, right? Whatever configuration you are saving, you want to retain them. So in that case, just go for backup only configuration. Or if you want to set complete content and configuration, select this. But by default, don't go for only configuration, go for complete content too, because even your data will be taken as a backup. Now second thing, if you want to take a backup of a blog or wiki or some sites which are very heavy, right, where your data will be, each and every guy will be giving so much of content, right, where you don't have to take the backup of each and every post. At that time, maybe you can just create a configuration, because you want to retain your something like, you want to retain only your the complete configuration part, where we have done something like, at left side we have given a quick launch, or right side we have mentioned what is a site, blog site all belongs to on all. So it will just take, it will only take everything which is the data part, and it will completely skip that, I mean, sorry, it will take only the configuration parts, and it will directly skip the content part, which is, there won't be anything like posts or so. So but make sure to take a backup of both, because it will be very useful as for maintenance of heavier sites, right? And you have to give something called backup location. Let me take this, and let me create some location for you, right? Let us say I want to create, I have some here. Let me take something called backup, right? Now let me copy this URL, I mean the directory path, and paste it here, right? So now you can see here at the last line, so as we have selected everything, which means, see, estimated disk space required is this much, because your complete SharePoint instance currently is taking this much of space. Again, I am not talking about the software, I'm talking about the all the configurations. We have created so many websites, right? In each and every site, we have created so many. Let me just. Uh, we have created so many collections. I mean, so many lists, so many documents. You have uploaded the documents, right? And you have multiple versions of your document, right? There are so many things which you have saved. The complete memory space is nothing but your this much, right? So that's why whenever it is taking a backup, it is asking you that yes, if you want, you can start backup again. Remember that if you are taking the complete backup, this won't be this small, right? In real time it will be in complete GBs. You have to actually take backup in some external drives, right? You can't take a backup in a same drive, because already if you have a some your server drive is some 200 GB, right? Your SharePoint will grow. If you have a multiple blogs, multiple wikis, multiple document libraries, right? Your SharePoint will grow like anything, right? Because it will be accessible for so many audience, right? In that case, you have to take a backup in a separate shared server. Shared server is something which is used to take a backup, or you also call in real time as a backup server, right? So that is how it goes. Now, so if you are a individual I can say individual developer, at that time you don't have to take the full form, right? You don't have to take the complete form. Anyways, your admin guys who are taking care of complete complete administration of SharePoint, complete administration in the sense who are at top level, right? They'll sometimes schedule this backup. So every time it will be scheduled automatically, right? But if you want to take something, let's go back and select some component. Now here whatever we have seen is when I click on next, right, you can just say backup, start backup. So what it does, it will start your backup. Fine. And let us see starting your backup. Let us just select some point, because if you try to take a backup of this, it will take at least a half an hour, right? Right, let me just let us take our own corp IT, or yeah. So let us see how much is our corp IT size, and we'll take a backup. Okay, it is 35 MB here. Let me just go back previous. Let me take some batch IT. Let us take a smaller one, which can be completed. Yeah, it's 23 MB, right? Yeah, let us take this one, right? You can see here backup component is this, right? And you can see something missing, which is configuration, right? Which means it will automatically take the both configuration and your content, right? Now let me just say the same path backup location here again, right? And now let me click on something called start backup, right? Now your backup may start, or it will give an error. So this error, don't worry about this error, because this error means a lot actually. It says Microsoft SharePoint Foundation Administration Service is not started, which means even if you are working with your SharePoint server, it doesn't mean that your service is started. So where will be all our services is, so they will be in our services window, which is our services component, which is in order to go to services, you have to go to start my computer, right click and click on manage, right? So here this is a computer management. So here you will be getting all type of I hope we have already seen this screen when we actually worked on users, right? If you remember, we have whatever users we have added there, and it got reflected here, right? So in the same computer management, we have something called services and applications, right? So click on services. So you can see so many services being installed. So these services are nothing but if you are installing some software like SharePoint, or Adobe Photoshop, or Flash Player, or anything. It can be Skype or anything. So whatever, see, even your Skype, right? Even your Skype service is running. So if this Skype C2C service is blocked, your Skype sometimes will not work. You have to start this, because this is something which is making your making your program work. I think you will also have something called TVR. See, so whatever you install, so this is nothing but your application, or the software which you have installed is registered with something called registered in registry of Windows, right? So here you will be you can find something called SharePoint. Can you see here? SharePoint administration. Yeah, you can see here the status of SharePoint administration is not, it is null, which means there is, it's in off state, which is stopped state. Now let us start this service. Click on start. So yeah, it will start your administration. Now let's go back here and let me click on go to back, or before that let me just reset the IIS so that your service is started, right? Let us just refresh the IIS now. So once you refresh the IIS, what happens is your site will be refreshed and whatever you do will be afresh again, right? So that all the uh, anyways, once you start your service, automatically it will be affected here. But make sure that you are just doing all these things again, guys. Do remember that whenever you are restarting your server, don't do it in your actual production servers, right? Never do IIS restart in your production servers, because there is a separate process to reset your server. You should never, I mean, process in the sense it's a theoretical process, like a company will have their own process, right? But anyways, you have to reset your server by using IIS reset, which is correct. But again, there is something called maintenance cycle of a SharePoint. It is not a theory or it is not a practical which we can say, but it is something called process, like company process. So if you want to actually restart your server, or you feel that there is something missing in your server, you have to email your teams or email whoever is using SharePoint, that so there will be a downtime of 2 hours or 3 hours for your SharePoint. I hope you guys would have seen this, right? If you are accessing your bank applications, sometimes they'll just show you screen that maintenance is under progress. Just get back after 2 hours, right? The same thing you have to do here, right? You just have to mention, it can be either an email or anything. You just have to send an email, get an appointment that on 25th of April SharePoint server will be down for 3 hours. So in those 3 hours you have to do all these stuffs, getting your backups or getting IIS reset done, right? All these things, because whenever you are taking again a backup, it will actually hit your server, right? So that's why backups and all should be done over the night, where where SharePoints are, maybe the site is being used very less, right? At that time you have to take all these backups and restarts and all, right? But plan for that. Never do a backup or something directly without giving any notification, because once you actually log into your PC and once you restart IIS, right, actually, um, if something happens, right, so there will be a registry being created in a server that you have restarted your server, because your login ID with the login, so whatsoever you are logging to the server will be automatically registered in the server, which means if someone is checking who have restarted, he can get your ID. So be careful, because Windows is so good at saving authentication types, right? Now, so as we have started our service here, let me go back to site, right? So it will take you to the again to the main site of central administration again, right? Yeah, we got here, and let us go to backup and restore. Okay, click on farm backup, right? It will take you to this again, right? Let me select on batch IT. It's a simple web application which I have created for, I think, one of you. And we have corp IT. As corp IT is of bigger size, let us take a batch IT. So here what I want is, you can see here, this is a type of web application, right, which we have created, and I want to save both content and configuration. If you don't want that, expand this and you can just select this. This is nothing but a content, so which will save only content, right? And let me select this so that even your configuration will be selected, right? Now let's go back, and this is same for each and every site, right? Each and every site will have two component, which is either a content. If you remember this, we have explained that WSS underscore content, this so ID is nothing but your database, right? In SQL Server, your SharePoint complete data will be saved in this table. Fine. So let me select this batch ID, click on next. Right, let me select a full, right, and let me just give this path backup, and let me just say start backup. Now you can see, yes, right, so our backup is started. Now this is very important, these lines here, readiness, the backup or restore is currently in progress, which means you can see, right, you won't feel that it is happening, but it is happening behind the scene. So that's what is this service taking care of, right? This service is taking care of your backup process. Let me just go to task manager and see whether it is available or not. Right, every time if you want to see what is the status, just click on refresh. Right, see here, you got something, right, which is requested by user, phase in process. You can see total current 14 by 18. Let me refresh again. Right, it is 6 again. So in each and every component batch IT, right, each and every database component is taken as a backup. Again you can see what is the backup ID, what is the directory. If you can see the directory again, your backup site will be created, right? See here, sp brt some id, which is understandable by again by your SharePoint, right? So you can see that each and everything is happening now. Under this is very important window again. So this is the one which will give you whether, yeah, it's refresh. Let me refresh it again. Yeah, phase is completed. So this is the token where you can see whether your backup is completed or not. Fine. So now as it is completed, you can see what is the start time. Everything will be registered, guys. Each and every part whatever you are doing will be registered. So be careful on taking backups, right? And you can see that backup method is full. We have taken this backup, right? And backup threads, what is this thread? So how many maximum number of backups we can take, right? That is a thread. Now you may get warnings and errors. As of now we haven't got any warnings or sorry, warnings or errors anyways, right? So now from here, this is very important. If you want to make sure that each and everything is success, so there is a failure message and a progress, right? Make sure that everything is completed, right? You can see each and everything, main things are done, right? So here, if you have any failure message, you will be getting that. Let me just refresh it again. Right, where is that batch ID? Okay, sorry, under this form you have selected only batch ID, right? So that's why only batch ID items will have something called completed, right? That's it, because corp IT we haven't taken, corp IT we haven't taken anything else. So that's why, so I was just wondering why it is not complete for all, right? We have just considered batch IT, so that's why only batch IT will be there, and if there is any failure you will be getting on the failure message. So this is how you actually take backup. And every time if you want to check whether it is completed, just click on refresh. Continuous refresh will take you, because here nothing is happening on this page. Once you actually request for backup, it will take, this service will be taken, will be taking care of your service, right? Now let me just go back here and let us see whether something is running here. So you can see here SPUC worker process, which is SharePoint like background process, right? So these are the process which you can see here, right? Sandbox code, which is SharePoint foundation. So this we have more SPs. Let me just yeah, right, you can see here everything will be running out, which is your Microsoft. So we have just started the service, right? So that's why these, process, background process started up. So these are the process which will actually take care of whatever you refresh will be taken care of, right? So this is how you actually take a backup of an item. We have seen for for a particular item. Even granular backup can be done from here itself, which is we have taken a backup of a simple collection, right? You can do that, not a problem, right? You can do the whole farm again, right? So that is how you actually do a backup. Now in the same way, let us see how to restore back. Let us say after taking this backup, right, you have this latest backup and something happened to this SharePoint. See, whenever I say something, it can be like your IAS is, in your IAS someone deleted your SharePoint site, right? Or in database administrator, just he edited some database column. Anything can happen, right? At that time, as you have your active backup with you, you can just restore them back. Then how to restore this? Again, you have again an option of restore from backup. You can restore anything from here, right? Now here you can see it will automatically load your file, because we are using this. Now let us say click on refresh, it will give you all the backups, because we have taken only batch IT. That's why it gave only batch IT. Let me just give the wrong folder and refresh. You can see here no backup was found, right? Because there is no backup here. Let me just give this one and backup, right? You have got one. And if you expand it, it will just show you who has taken a backup and what is the latest time of backup. You can just go through this backup, right, and can restore that. Fine. So now here you have to select this, click on this, right, and say next. And again, always remember one thing: if you are doing some changes to your once you have taken backup, and if you do some changes back to your site and some tweaks, and again if you try to take a restore of a backup, your current things will be gone, right? So that's how always try to take a backup very frequently. Once you are done with your work, maybe once in a month, or it depends on how complicated is your SharePoint, or how how what is the frequency you want to maintain for your design forms, right? So I just clicked on next. So it is just waiting to go. Let me just close this services window. I hope you have understood this services window. Close this window. Yeah, you can see here, like, now this is a screen where select component to restore. So this screen is to restore something. Now you can see under the form we have only one thing activated, which is batch IT. Nothing is activated because this backup file, which is this file is only for batch IT. So that's why we got only this option. And again, in this you can either restore only content or both. Fine, anything can be restored. Then click on next. Right now you can see here page is not encrypted. Okay, so now okay, not a problem, right? So here yeah, so what you are saying is it will give you all the sites where actually your batch IT everything is there, right? And it says that, see here, what is this mean? This means that if you remember, whenever we created batch IT site, we gave one user, right, primary user, if you remember, right, admin.
User, if you remember, right? Admin.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that user
So that user
is what it is talking
is
about.
what I'm talking about.
Usernames, passwords are
Usernames,
not
passwords
encrypted,
are not
but doesn't
encrypted,
matter at all,
but doesn't
because
matter at all
anyways
because
once you take a
anyways,
backup,
once
right,
you take
your
a backup,
SharePoint
right,
server,
your SharePoint server,
I'm getting an echo.
I'm getting an echo.
I think someone have
I think I've
unmuted a mic, right?
unmuted a mic, right?
Is that okay? Okay, fine. So now it's there now. Yeah. So so in that way it is. But anyways, users anyways you can create at any time. But anyways here you are not getting any configuration issue, right? So now let me just start restore. Now again it started. Just type on refresh timely, right? So once it, so it is here you can see that a backup or restore is currently in progress, right? Currently in progress. This way you see, and if you want to see continuously, you can type in refresh again, right? So it is currently in progress. So again, if somehow if you go back to backup and restore, right, see it, yeah, backup and restore, you have again one more option here. Yeah, here you can see check backup and restore job status. Click on this. Again it will take you to the same screen, which is what is the status of backup, right? It will be running on. You can see backup or restore is currently in progress. Timer service is running, administration service is running, because so it is everything is running to get your site whatever you have selected to back to the administration. It can be a simple site or a collection or anything, right? Let me refresh this again. Right, it's in process again. Okay, it will take some time anyways, right? Let it take some time because backup process is not an issue. It is taking so much of time. Doesn't matter. Let it take. Yeah. Fine. See, it is even so. The service